Welcome to True Health Tuesdays, and the truth will set you free. Okay, preparing for challenges. So I'm going through, and I got some information this past week that says that society is going to have a lot more challenges than we've experienced in the last year. I know, don't run. Okay, it's okay. And so I was looking at our video from 2018 on preparing for this stuff. And some of the information on the 2018 will probably be censored now in 2021 because the censorship and the loss of freedoms. But I just want to go through it. So I'm going to show you what's new and what was back then, what we were concerned about. But this quote is brilliant. If you allow the government to break the law during an emergency, then the government will create emergencies to break the law. And that's what's happening now, okay? And it's a great way to train the public. I mean, back in May, okay, because I'm living in the Empire of California, run by the great Lord Newsom, and what happened is back in May, he said, by June 15th, everything shall be okay. You know, no data or anything. It's just, you know, he just wanted to, he likes the power thing. Okay, and I said, well, by August 15th, they'll be pulling the plug again. And this is what's happened, okay? Yeah, you can be free. Nope, can't be free. Got to be free, can't be free. If you've ever trained a dog, okay, you have the carrot and the stick. A little bit of freedom. All you got to do is this. I think it was Jefferson that said if you trade freedom for security, you'll have neither. Welcome to America. Okay, so in the Dr. B VIP section, we're going to be talking about a lot more. So please, if you can, subscribe to us while we're still on YouTube. Look at us. We're live on Facebook and the Dr. B VIP. If you're on Dr. B VIP, this will be uninterrupted. On Facebook and YouTube, we have to abide by the censorship rules. So this will stop halfway when we talk about some of the stuff that you can do. And Extreme Health Academy, I'm on there at least once a month doing about a 2.5 to 3 hour seminar. Please, talking about health challenges, get on here so that you can look at people that have had health challenges. Like a question tonight was brought up on skin cancer. Okay, good. Realize that it's not a skin problem. It's a skin alarm telling you that there's a systemic problem. Okay. Now this is interesting. Now, normalcy bias. This is the biggest epidemic we have today. In 2018, I said, look, martial law might be coming, economic collapse, war, something is happening, something is brewing. And you could see this. Now, what normalcy bias is what everyone is going through right now. And what is the government telling you? All you got to do is get this and everything will go back to normal. Okay, it's the people that aren't doing this that are having the problem. Okay, and then we're going to go over the facts and data in the censored portion. You're going to see that's not true. But the normalcy bias, I'm going to tell you right now, nothing will go back to normal. Your freedoms will not be restored. Your freedoms will not be restored. Nothing will go back to normal. Okay, if you're in Texas and Florida, those are like separate countries where they're running their own rules. Okay, they are still going to be under a lot of different restrictions coming up because there's going to be economic sanctions and everything else. I mean, just think of this. Let's say that, the event, man-made or natural disaster. What if we had 1 day of no cell service and no electricity? That means no power, no street lights. A normal half-hour journey from downtown LA to here, okay, would take 5-6 hours. Okay, no cell service, you can't do anything. Okay, you can't check on your family or anything like that. So realize that there are some major challenges coming up, and this will not go back to normal. When the government was, what's that new God? I'm not talking Christ. Fauci, the great God Fauci. Okay. Mr. Science, he knows everything, okay, and he cannot be questioned. You know, he's a name that we shall not ever disrespect. Bullshit. Okay, so the great God Fauci was saying don't mask, then mask, then 2 masks, then no mask, then any mask, then you get the shot. You don't have to mask, now you got a mask. Okay, and the public, um, they're following right along. They're not confused at all. Okay, even though we've never masked a healthy person ever. So plan for at least 3 months. Okay, 6 months to a year would be better, of no food, no water. Now, if you are, because the only way we survive this, okay, is in communities. So you may be the ultimate friggin' prepper. You may have water, you may have tools, you may have food stored up, you may have ammunition or self-protection stuff stored up, you may have something, but your neighbor may not. But they may have skills. They may have a garden. They may have a property. They may have a car that isn't going to be negatively affected by an EMF pulse. Okay, they may have ways to repair a generator. Okay, so we form together by communities. I wouldn't recommend opening your stores to everybody because there can be some challenges coming up, particularly if the power goes off for 1 week. That means the stores run out of food and everything goes out like right now. So, number one, learn how to open your friggin' garage. A lot of people, I already know, I press this button and the thing goes up. It's so cool. Okay, there's a latch on it to open the garage, okay? Understand when you turn the faucet, when the power goes out, there's not going to be water coming out, okay? Fuel storage, for God's sake, it's dangerous stuff. That shit explodes and it's flammable. Okay, so if you're going to store it in an approved container, safe, ventilated, be cautious with that. Candles, flashlights, food storage. I mean, we're talking basic common sense. Now, societies have gone through changes like this. Okay, not on a worldwide basis, this is unique, but if you look at the world as one giant society, okay, societies have a cycle. The only people that survive are in a monastic community, okay, where they're self-sufficient. So the only way you're going to survive is to be self-sufficient. If you're 50% self-sufficient, bitchin', hook up with somebody that's 20% self-sufficient, and then you get a community, you serve together. I mean, back when I was a kid, I was a contractor, and we would work for this group of Mormons, and they had, I think it was like 3 months of food storage for their family. And what would happen is these Mormons in their community would keep everybody alive. Okay, if there was so it's a community thing. So the people that survive are the monastic self-sufficient communities, and this is the cycle of society. Then a person or group of people come in, organize those monastic separate societies into one group so they can pool their resources. Okay, now this is where you build infrastructure, okay? And you get the waterways, agriculture increases. It's amazing. And then you have an abundance, and it's called the golden age. And the golden age is amazing, okay? This is where you have an abundance of wealth. And then who do you elect? You elect people to give you shit. Okay, that's it, bottom line. Okay, so you're going to elect leaders that are going to say, a chicken in every pot, a car in every garage. Okay, yes, we can do this. Okay, and then the state starts to get depleted. This is why they were mixing copper with the silver coins in Greece, okay, to pay for some of their infrastructure. Okay, so eventually you get a finite world, finite materials, finite resources, but you have this infinite expansion idea. Eventually you get to the limit of that infinite expansion, and then there's chaos. Okay? Where are we now? If you think that we're in the golden age, dude, the weed you're smoking must be good. Okay? If you understand that we're in the chaos phase, this is it. So the only way to survive, understand the world will not go back to normal. You can't tell someone to put a face diaper on and stay 6 feet away and do that to their children for a friggin' year to flatten the curve. Okay, to do that for a year, okay, which is going to psychologically damage those kids for years, for decades, okay, and then say, hey, man, it's all better. You don't got to do any of this stuff. Okay, no, it ain't going to go back to normal. Okay, now, these are most of the slides are from 2018, but I want you to get it for perspective, the World Health Organization said non-communicable diseases will kill the majority of the people. It's going to bankrupt the world by 2030. And these are diseases you cannot catch. You have to earn. Okay, you cannot catch these. You have to earn these through high stress, crappy lifestyle, and poor medical care. Because honest to goodness, if I stand on your foot, okay, is your blood pressure going to go up or down? Anybody have a question about that? I'll stand on their foot right now. Okay, we'll check it. So high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and high cholesterol, those are not diseases. Those are responses to stress. So if you drug the response to stress without addressing the cause of stress, then that is bad. That's called killing you. That is stupid. Okay? So the non-communicable diseases, cardiovascular disease, heart disease, cancer, COPD. Okay? Now, it's from toxic food, toxic lifestyle. Who is this current condition that we're all panicked for, okay, or at least responding to the panic by the government induced? Who's it killing? Well, according to the CDC, you got to have 3.8 comorbid conditions. Healthy people aren't dying. Turns out that their numbers are 99% off. So really, it's obesity, it's stress, it's anxiety, it's heart disease. You got to have, well, there's 4. Okay, you got to have 3.8 comorbid conditions to die with this. Okay? Yeah, that'll get by the censor. Okay, sure. So they're saying that these diseases would bankrupt the world, okay, by 2030. And now we're seeing a disease that's killing people that have these. Now, living in disharmony, we need animal agriculture to have our farming. It's delusion to think that we can just eat soybean products, okay, soybean fake meat. And you might think, well, aren't those estrogenic compounds that's going to decrease the aggressiveness of a male? And you'd be right, okay, and it can increase certain cancers, but, so you need animals in order to maintain the integrity of the grasslands, in order to maintain integrity of the farming community. They can eat waste, transfer that into poop. I mean, it's amazing. Okay, but what we're doing, we're creating sick animals in sick farms, okay, that have a toxic product. So, we got to live it in a little bit better. Now, again, this 2018, Argentina passed a law that says you have to have a vaccine passport, okay, and that you're going to need to have proof. And of course, right now, you're talking about the one jab, but no, there's 13 different adult vaccines that are required in America. There's 48 vaccines that are in development down the pipeline that you will be required to get. But this was 3 years ago, and Argentina said you must show proof of the entire schedule, okay, or you cannot drive, get groceries, get an ID, travel, anything. So if you're under the delusion that you get this, and then you're going to be able to travel, and you're going to be able to go to school, and it's only for this, yeah, what about variants? What about the annual flu shot? What about all the other stuff that you should be getting? Because the government is a lot smarter than you about your own health. Okay? So, I mean, I'm sure that you think that you should be in charge of your health, but no, they're much smarter. Now, in Colombia, and I like this, Colombia, they judged it unconstitutional for the government to force you to get a medical procedure without informed consent. No, I didn't say Columbia, Washington. Okay? Stop that, Victor. Okay? I meant Colombia, South America. Okay? So these guys say the state cannot make decisions regarding bodily integrity of its citizens. To do so would violate human dignity. Amazing. So luckily, I've got some friends that have traveled around the world, and just recently they came back. They say America is like the world's only hope, because we're looking at criminal behavior by governments in Australia, in New Zealand, in virtually every country around the world, criminal behavior by the governments that are designed to serve the people. Okay, now Nuremberg Code, the Nazis didn't get in trouble for killing or torturing people. They got in trouble for doing those activities without the informed consent. Okay, so now we're in that position. Luckily, since we are a collection of little countries, we can call them states that have a lot of independence, okay, that is our only hope. Now, when you see people, because if you see someone walking around with a face diaper, okay, and they're not, they're not from Florida, Texas, or the 15 states that are passing laws to make that shit illegal, okay, to have a government force. If you want to wear it, cool, wear it. It's probably a world beautification. You might be hideously ugly, okay, but you shouldn't be forcing everybody to wear it because I mean, there's a lot of pretty looking people here, okay. Now, again, 2018, children living in poverty. America was 34 out of 35. America living in poverty. Now, let's say that you're concerned about the health of the population. Okay? Let's say you're concerned about the health of the population. Would you close the gyms? Would you close the schools? Would you mask the kids? Would you cause increased stress? Would you close about 87% of the businesses that were essential and non-essential? Would you just wipe out the friggin' economy? But don't worry, we'll print more money. Wait, where's that money come from? Oh my goodness, it's savings. That means if you have money in the bank, that money is getting worth less and less. And then you listen to these idiots on colleges that are saying, well, we should have free college education in this country, and we should have free medical, and we should have this, okay? And I say you shouldn't be shitting on yourself, okay? Okay, because when you look at this, who pays for it? The people when they get out and start to have to work, okay? And then you get the 50 or 80% tax rates. But do you think the children are better off now than they were in 2018 with the interventions? Okay, percentage of people living below the poverty line, again, 35th at 157. Do you think over the last, and this is 3 years ago, I'm just saying, do you think that it's better now that we have less homeless? I'll tell you what, go to any overpass in LA, in anywhere, okay, Santa Ana, Irvine, everything. It's a tent city explosion, and it's going to get worse. We've got our representatives camping out on the steps to stop the evictions. Where was their head at a year ago when they closed the businesses? Americans just want to friggin' work, okay, and not have a handout, because the smart ones know that handout isn't a handout. It's not daddy government giving you. It's your tax dollars going in there. Oh, this, by the way, again, this was from 2018, $21 trillion. Wipe that out. I have no idea with the multiple stimulus packages and the shutting down of businesses. Okay, how big is this going to be? Where do taxes come from? Businesses. Okay, post-World War II era, no ordinary turndown. Now, they were talking about the global debt of $325 trillion is 3 times the size of the GDP. So this was a worldwide phenomenon 3 years ago. Do we have a worldwide phenomenon now? Absolutely. So how do you wipe out a debt? Okay, you can wipe out the currency. Okay, just make it worth more. I mean, what did a soda cost you in 1950? 5 cents. What's it cost you now? 20 times that. So now, that's just to motivate you, as if the last year and a half of restrictions, okay, and here's a little freedom, take it back. Here's a little freedom, take it back. If you've ever trained a wild beast, okay, like the American public, you're going to say it's only for this, so give up your freedom just for 2 weeks, okay? Well, give up your business just for a couple of weeks. We got to save lives. And I've actually had patients that say, yes, if this saves just one life, where's the cost benefit analysis? Okay, you wipe out 87% of the small businesses in America, and these people have to get food and clothing and shelter. What happens to alcoholism, depression, anxiety, stress? Does it go down because you have to just hang out? Or is there a greater death rate? It's crazy. So food supplies. The seeds are one of the most amazing things. I mean, you got a 50-gallon bag or a 50-gallon bucket, okay, or 5-gallon bucket produces 150 pounds of sprouts. Fantastic, organic, great. And if you got access to soil, you can grow them. Patriot Supply is good, but you have to get some type of food storage. When you're going to get food, okay, that means right now, you get off your ass when you're going to the store, you get 4 extra cans. Get a little bit of extra TP. You get a little bit of something, okay? And not for you, for trade. Because I'm telling you, dollars aren't going to be worth anything. You can't eat it, okay? So for trade, to help your neighbors, to help everything. Be smart now, okay? Does anyone in here feel a sense of urgency in my message? Good! Okay, now I know someone's going to say, why did you yell? I turned my volume up. Now it was too loud. I'm sorry. Okay. Sprouts. The sproutpeople.org is amazing because you're talking a couple of ounces turn into a couple of pounds. Okay, is that a good ROI? Hell yes. Now, water is going to be shut off. Now, water is hugely important, and a lot of people don't have a lot of storage, but there's water in your house anywhere, okay? If you look at the water heater, when you first turn that spigot on the bottom, rusty crap is going to come out. Save it, okay? The rust will settle down. You can run it through a filter. You can use it to wash dishes with. You can use it to wash your hair. You'd use it to flush the toilet. Eventually, the toilets won't work right because the pumps aren't going to work. Okay, so but at least you got some water there. Okay, you can boil it if you have some sticks in the back or propane or something. You can distill it. There's a lot of things you can do with it. But turn off the spigot for the whole house supply because there is a ton of water in the pipes. A ton. If you have an apartment building, there's a lot of water in the pipes. Just make sure someone's there. So you shut it off so that this way you can dole it out. You can, to make it equal. Somebody's got to take charge of this. Then river, ocean. There's a lot of ways to distill, solar distill. You get a plastic bag, dig a hole, put some plants in there, and the sun will actually start to create that. Look at water needs, about 1 gallon a day per person. Okay, so if you're 30 days, 30 gallons. Okay, and that's if you have nothing. So look at simple calculations. Rain harvesting. Of course, we had a guy that owned, still owns a car dealership, and he has this massive roof to collect rainwater so we could wash the cars. And the city fined him because they said that they want that water going back into the city. And he's going, but I'm saving it, I'm recycling it, and it still will go. Yeah, the government, this is the chaos phase. Okay, local food harvesting. As weird as this sounds, does anybody remember Yule Gibbons? Or am I the only one? Thank God. Ever eat a pine tree? Many parts are edible. Okay, thank God. Okay, so look at the stuff. I mean, I'm up every other weekend up in Goleta hiking around, and you're going to see there's tons of stuff up there. Like when you smell that licorice smell when you're in the mountains, that's anise. Okay, you can dig it up. You can eat the root. You can do a lot of things with that. God, just in the park, eucalyptus leaves. You can make a great tea out of that. It's fantastic. It's a great aromatic. It cleans up the sinuses. It's incredible. Pine nuts, cattails, seaweed. But if you're going to harvest seaweed, make sure it's in the middle. If you're getting it close to where there's a storm drain or something, there's a lot of toxins on people's yards and crap in there, and seaweed's like a sponge. But you can eat it. And last time we were up kayaking up near Pismo Beach, we were up there with a guide because he was taking us through some caves, and he goes, "Anybody want breakfast?" And he rips it up and chews it, and it was actually pretty good. It I wouldn't exactly have it for breakfast, but it's pretty good. Now, food sources, the meals ready to eat, a horrible source of nutrients because it backs you up, makes you, and if it's exposed to the sun, it only lasts 2-3 months. So look at more traditional stuff, more dried foods. And then also look at your refrigerator, because if the power is out and you do not have a generator, you're going to have a lot of spoiled foods. A lot of spoiled foods. So it's setting the oven on low heat if you still have gas, slicing it up thin, looking at how they used to preserve it, get some extra bags of salt. Okay, if you don't have that, you can get some sea salt to dry it. You can use citric acid to start cooking things. Just know that you can slice it, sun dry it, and it's how we've been preserving food for forever. Okay, so look at that. Just know when the power comes off, you need to do it. But man, honest to goodness, if you're buying any kind of groceries, get 10, 20% more just every week, and it's going to be a lot safer. Disinfectants. Purell you can throw away because that's ridiculous. Okay, anything that kills the bacteria and damages your normal flora, anything that you put on your skin if you can't eat is going to damage you. Didn't Johnson & Johnson just come out with like a sunscreen or something that causes cancer? Yeah, and the baby powder, what was that? Cancer causing too? Okay, yeah. Don't worry, they found God when it came to this. Okay. Even though with no long-term studies and it's still an experimental stage, I'm sure it's just safe. Okay, so you look at the antimicrobials, no polysporin, neosporin, again, antibiotics. Have you heard of antibiotic-resistant bacteria? Yes, this is why. Okay, they're using antibiotics to kill everything. Now, you're talking when in your body, you got 70 trillion cells. You got 4 times that amount of bacteria and 10 times that amount of viruses. 45% of your DNA is viral. Okay, you're designed to live on this planet. If you want to keep your house and your body completely clean, like a hospital, there are about 200,000 people a year die from hospital-acquired infections, because they still don't have the intellect to understand that we got to live in harmony with our environment, not killing everything. Okay, so now we got antibiotic-resistant bugs that are killing people because of our misuse of antibiotics. So let's look at good stuff that you can do. But for one thing, if you got a cut and you put something on there and it burns, that is not going to be good because that closes off the blood vessels. Okay, but what can you do? When you look at this colloidal silver, I mean, I did a couple of videos on how to make this stuff. Amazing. Bacteria can't, I mean, it's fantastic. You even spray it on veggies and it'll make the veggies last longer. Aloe, that's one of the greatest plants in the world to have. You can use it on burns, you can use it for digestion. It's amazing. Hydrogen peroxide, everybody should have this stuff there. Oral grade hydrogen peroxide, fantastic detoxicant. I mean, it's amazing and it's good for you. And then you got just heat and sunlight. I mean, do you ever remember when going into the beach when you were a kid and you had some acne and you thought, oh my goodness, the salt water is like amazing. It killed all my acne. Now I can go on a date because I don't look like pimple face. Okay. Well, no, it was the sunlight. The sunlight has antimicrobial properties. It's amazing. Okay, so I mean, look at the natural stuff. Colloidal silvers, heck, it was used on the Mir space station. U.S. Food and Drug Administration uses it. Disinfectant. It's amazing. But what you'll see when you're looking on sites and things, they're going to say, "Oh, it's not that effective. Be careful. It's dangerous." Blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, even though it's used in everywhere. Poisoning, really really common. Particularly if you're trying certain veggies or, you get something without a label. Read the label. Sometimes you want to induce vomiting, sometimes you don't. Okay? 2 of the things that we got in our toolbox, and I'm talking our medical kit, bentonite clay. Do you know how long bentonite clay lasts on a shelf? It's dirt! It lasts forever. It never goes bad. It never spoils. It's clay. Okay, you can drink it, eat it, put it on there, make a paste. I mean, it's fantastic. Okay, charcoal lasts for forever. Okay, so it's a great thing to store and keep in there. It's amazing. The aloe, this is. I mean, we had a dog with. Anybody have a dog with white fur? They have a lot of skin issues. Okay, this we would electric tape. Electric tape is really good. It doesn't stick to fur, human fur, or dog fur. Okay. We tape some of that to his wounds. If any of my kids got cut or burned or anything, Why? Because we gave them knives and matches to play with. Okay, I was a good dad. So you'd put. Okay, you tell me you never played with matches or something when you were a kid. Okay, so we put aloe on there and put some electric tape around it. I mean, it's just an aloe leaf. If you have digestion issues, you can scrape the gel off. It's incredible. I mean, helps with digestion, blood sugar control. It's amazing. Coconut oil lasts for forever. Okay, antimicrobial, kills viruses, and I mean antioxidants, kills funguses. It's great. It has a sun protection factor of like 4 or 5. So it's not much, but it will help a bit. Transportation, super important. Okay. First, best one ever is get some good shoes. Because walking, if you're walking at a decent pace, you can do 10 to 20 miles pretty darn easy, okay, in a day. A nice little backpack and stuff. But also look at bikes. Bicycles are great. Electric bikes are great. I had a veggie burning car. That's actually my veggie burning car. Okay, that I used to have. That was, God, I love that car. Okay, but if you're driving up at high altitude, veggie oil doesn't have a lot of oomph to it, so you got to mix it with a little bit of diesel. Okay, that's a downside. But be super, super cautious with dealing with fuel, but also understand that if there is, say, a cyber attack or an electromagnetic pulse, most of the cars that we have nowadays will not work. Okay, they will not work if there's a computer in there. Okay, there's certain things that you can do to protect the car, like disconnect the battery before you're going to use it, but still there's certain things that you will not be able to use. And if you're driving a car 2 weeks after the power and everything shuts down, understand that there's going to be an increase in crime. If you're driving a car and somebody needs a car to check on their family, or that they feel that their car is essential for their survival, there's going to be certain challenges. Biking and walking is a good idea. I mean, I got a little raft in my garage. I could probably have to row 9 miles up to get to the boat, but Okay, communications. These phones, they're satellite communicators. Okay, some of them you can get them for like $200-300. Some of them, it's, a couple of thousand. Okay, you have to get satellite time. The Iridium network is more efficient because you use it at ocean, and it's worldwide. Okay, the other phones, you got to buy a plan. Some of the monthly plans are like $14, some are $99. I've had a bunch of parents, okay, that have their kids in college in Colorado or New Jersey. Cell phone towers go down, everything else goes down, the power goes out, and your kid's stuck at college and they live an hour away. Would you like to communicate to them at any time? Yes or yes? Okay, yeah. So this gives an advantage. So I got one for my best friend, one for my wife, and one for me. Okay, just so that if they're stuck somewhere, I'm stuck somewhere. I'm coming up from the border from Mexico, and hell breaks loose. I would like to be able to say, hey, look, things aren't working right. But just what would you do if you don't have this stuff? Okay, develop a plan. Develop a plan. Okay, say, hey, look, power goes out. We can't talk to anyone. We can't get a hold of each other. Let's meet at Uncle Harold's, or let's meet over here. Or if you're in this area, you go to Aunt Clarine, or you go to the campsite up here. Okay, and within a week we'll meet you there. Okay, so develop a plan that's legit, and I mean, we've got to work on this stuff together, because again, if you're looking for the government to save you, or if you're looking to go back to normal, that ain't going to happen. Okay, skills you got to develop: food, transportation, water, shelter, waste management. When the pump shut down, you're going to have to find some way to deal with it. Okay, pooping in a trash can, hauling it over to someplace, dumping it in a field. Okay, that's an option. But you just got to, work together with people. First aid, some people got skills, some people don't. How many people were Boy Scouts? Okay, good. You guys got skills. You know how to tie a knot, tie a wound. Okay, and that stuff you never lose. Okay, so just practice it. And personal protection. personal protection should be the last resort. Okay, to because like Solzhenitsyn said, okay, in the Gulag Diaries, um, there are no bad people. Okay, if that was the case, we could just like shoot them all and they'd be fine. Okay, the world would be perfect. But no, everybody is doing it to make life more wonderful for something, for some reason. They're doing these actions. So if somebody is trying to rob you or to take something of yours, then it's not they're not evil. Okay, you do need to protect yourself. A book called Nonviolent Communication, I would totally recommend because it allows you to connect with people on a certain level. But then also the paintball gun I have in my truck that will shoot a bone-breaking ball at the person, which is great because my wife has one too. If she accidentally shoots me and breaks a rib, she can say whoops. Okay. If it goes through, okay, and it's a the 45, okay, then it's not as easy to say whoops. Okay, and look around where you're doing. I mean, we're in Huntington Beach. If we have a natural disaster where the bridges fall, we're a friggin' island. Okay, because there's no way to get out of here unless you're going over or under a bridge. Okay, that's the honest to truth. Okay, and so what would you do if you were left alone? Develop certain plans. Talk with your family. Okay, make it legit. If you got young kids, where are you going to go? Okay, all you guys meet at this kid's house. Okay, you stay there for a couple of days, and we'll all do it. So parents meet as a group, and luckily, looking at all the stuff they're teaching in schools, parents are really talking to each other. Thank God. Okay, so the new world, what we're going to do, we're going to clean up the food system. We're going to live in more harmony with it. And this is, I'm talking, when all of this insanity and chaos is done, when all the talk about microchipping and brains and population control, and when all of those conspiracy theorists that some of it might be true, some of it might not be. Okay, don't want to get into that because it'd be censored. Okay, but whatever happens, okay, to live on this planet, we got to live in more harmony with our surroundings. Okay, so and there's a way to have sustainable food forests, to have sustainable agriculture, where it has enough. We can produce enough food for everyone, and it's healthy food. We got to clean up healthcare. Would you agree that you would like to be in charge of your own health? What about you and your kids? Do you think that as a parent that you should be responsible for your kids, or do you think the pediatrician knows more than you? Okay, so let's clean up healthcare. Let's actually have open science discussions because science is never settled. Science is never settled. And I got to tell you, a bunch of my patients are attorneys, and one of them, really famous guy, he goes in and he says, "Look, when we're in court, we're debating an environmental law. We both have experts in the same field talking about this incident or this situation, and they have totally different opinions. So science is never settled. Science has to stand up to scrutiny. So if you have a question, you should be able to ask that, and nothing should be forced upon you. Environment, we got to live in harmony with the environment. Politics, okay, we're going to reclaim our rights. Okay, and we're going to talk about that in the second part of this. How you can actually reclaim, because if you were under the delusion that you were under the protection of the Constitution that gave you rights that couldn't be separated from you, that are called inalienable rights, like the right of commerce, the right of freedom of speech, the right of assembly, the right of religion. Okay, I'm going to show you how to get that stuff back. And infrastructure, not the insane bill that they're talking about now, but I'm talking about stuff that would actually help with the roads, the power, the utilization, actually help our economy and businesses start to go, start to thrive. Okay. Now, okay, so take care of yourself, understand the communities are going to change, but now we have to leave the part of YouTube and Facebook, and thank you guys. Please subscribe to the channel, share this as much as you can. If you can't share it, at least copy it, because you got to know, man, this stuff in 6 months, it is going to be censored. Okay, we're also on BitChute, Library, and with the Dr. B VIP is where we can put most of the stuff, because that for sure, DRB VIP. So I'll see you later.